Eye on Horror, the official podcast to iHorror.com. This is Season 3, Episode 14, otherwise known as... Are you guys ready for this? We're going to stretch and we're going to kick, because this is Episode 50. Can you believe that, guys? We are 50.
Oh, shit.
We're 50?
This is 50. I am your host, James J. Edwards, and with me, as always, is your other host, Jacob Davidson. How you doing, Jacob?
Doing good. Happy to be back. I kind of blown away that we reached 5-0.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised too when I was looking up. What episode is that? Whoa.
Yeah, just kind of caught up on us.
Yeah, when you're saying the numbers every week, it doesn't have the effect until you hit a milestone like that. So, also with us, as always, is your other host, John Correa. How you doing, Correa?
Woo! We hit 50!
Yeah, buddy.
Woo woo! Oh shit! My levels are peaking. James is gonna be mad at me. No, that's 50. Fuck. That's half of 100 if my math serves right.
My God, you're right.
Yeah. Oh.
Not just a pretty face.
Yeah. I mean, like, who would have known that we would have. There's people out there that have listened to 50 plus hours of our content. That's 2 days of your life you've spent on us, people. Thank you.
The only people who have listened to all 50 episodes besides me are my mom and Tim. Maybe Lindsay. Do you think she's gone through all 50?
I think she might be catching up or might have missed an episode or two, but I think for the most part she might have. As someone who hasn't listened to any full episodes, I am in the majority, I guess. I don't know.
Maybe. Hey, if anybody out there has listened to every episode, we'd love to hear from you, because it'll feed our ego that someone's actually listening.
We'll give you a shout out in our 51st episode.
Yeah. Before we get too deep into this episode, we have to start off with a moment of silence, because although it's not horror, it's horror adjacent. Chadwick Boseman passed away, who is best known as Black Panther, but he also played everyone from Thurgood Marshall to Jackie Robinson to James Brown. He was a talent, and 43 colon cancer. It's shocking. It's a waste. It's
tragic.
Terrible. I mean, cancer sucks.
Fuck cancer.
Yeah, and he was excellent in that new Spike Lee movie as well. That's on Netflix.
Oh yeah, the Five Bloods. He's in that too.
Five Bloods, yeah.
That was just tragic.
So, what have you guys been doing? What have you guys seen? Let me go first on this. I saw my new favorite movie of the year.
Ooh. Bill and Ted?
You guys will get into that one. No, it's called Sputnik. Have you guys seen Sputnik?
I haven't seen it, but it's on my watch list.
Oh, put it to the top of your watch list. It is so good. The thing is, there's nothing new in it. It's kind of like a ripoff. Well, not a ripoff. It's
inspired by.
Yeah, inspired by like Alien, Arrival. It's basically life. It seems like, actually, you know what it feels like is. Remember the end of Life? It feels like it picks up there.
Don't spoil it. I haven't seen it yet.
Okay, well, anyway, it seems like it picks up at the. Maybe you should watch Life first then, because it kind of picks up at the end of Life. But anyway, it's a Russian movie, and it's long story short, it's about a cosmonaut he's the only survivor of his mission, and it takes place in 1983, and he didn't come back alone. And we'll put it at that.
Ooh.
It's an alien movie. It's so good though, so good.
It's what Alien 3 promised.
A little bit. Anyway, okay, let's hear about Bill and Ted.
Yep. Oh, I saw it at the drive-in.
You son of a bitch.
Speaking of not quite horror, but any horror fan is going to be to want to hear about it and want to see it. I'm the only one of the three of us who have not seen it. So, what did you guys think of Bill and Ted Face the Music?
Well, first of all, I have to say, Bill and Ted Bogus Journey goes into a very, like a good chunk of that movie is largely horror influenced and has some pretty, like,
I mean, they are in hell.
Weird. Yeah. So, like, Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, I'd say, is out of the three the closest thing to horror. Or at least has a lot of horror elements to it. So it's worth mentioning the franchise as a whole. But also, Bill and Ted Face the Music is the movie that 2020 needed.
Yeah, no, definitely.
They really did, and because I watched it first as soon as it went live on my on digital, and then then a day or so later, I went back and I rewatched all 3 in a row, and dude, nothing. It's like they never left.
Yep.
Which is surprising because like they have. I mean, they've gone on and done other things and it's been fucking almost 30 years since the last one. So, but yeah, I absolutely loved it. What do you think, Jacob? Sorry, I cut you off hard.
Oh, it's fine. Yeah, no, I did. I saw it at the Beyond Fest Drive-In, so it was a double feature with Excellent Adventure, and it's just it syncs perfectly. Really, it really does feel like it picks up where it left off and just goes with it. And yeah, so it's basically, Bill and Ted are supposed to be the saviors of the universe with their music, but it's like 30 odd years later, they're like just playing at weddings now and trying to figure out what to do with their lives. And they've got their princess wives, and they've got adult daughters played by Samara Weaving as Taya Preston and Bridget Lundy Payne as Billy Logan.
Which is great because they named their daughters after each other. That's one thing I got from the IMDb that I love. That's such a great friendship. They named their daughters after each other.
Well, that was established in Bogus Journey because they're like, I want to introduce at the very end. They're like, this is little Ted and little Bill, and then and then in Face the Music, they kind of address how like Bogus Journey, they kind of made it They were like, oh, it's their sons, kind of, but they never outwardly said. So like, oh yeah, when they were kids, they used to call them Little Bill and Little Ted, and now they've grown up and they actually are, just like their fathers.
Yeah, they act like them, and so they get another messenger from the future, Kristen Shaw, and they're told that they need to make the most perfect song, otherwise reality is going to become undone in about an hour and a half. So it kind of follows this.
No pressure though.
Yeah. So it follows the series kind of usual style with like Bill and Ted in their. Well, they're not the brightest bulbs of the bunch, but using time travel to try and figure things out, and traveling through time and space and other dimensions, and I don't want to go too into it, but it does really encapsulate the series, and also I still can't believe it was directed by Dean Parasot, the guy that did Galaxy Quest, which is just such a perfect fit. So I really enjoyed it. I had a hell of a good time.
And it's legitimately wicked funny. Like,
it's funny as hell.
It fits so well with themes and what they did. Like, of course, Bill and Ted's first thought is, oh my God, we have to perform this song. Instead of sitting down and writing it, they go, why don't we just steal it from ourselves in the future? And like that kicks off their adventure. And then, but like it's legitimate. Like I can't believe that they not only brought Ted's father back, but they brought Missy back, and she has the best story. Like the continuation of Missy is my favorite thing ever.
That was so funny.
I don't want to spoil that because that blew me away, but there's just so much to it, like handling middle-age crisis, and then just like unity, and like really just what the idea of what a legacy is. And there's like themes that they handled that are very spoilery that I don't want to bring up, but they handle it very well. And I was not expecting Bill and Ted to be the perfect trilogy, honestly. Like as a whole, all three movies flow so well.
And especially with like a 30-year gap in there.
Yeah, mostly because I didn't expect that franchise to ever make it into a trilogy, because it's been 12 years that this movie's been in development and trying to be made. So yeah, and thank you, Steven Soderbergh. Like seriously,
yes, he produced it. I keep on forgetting.
Yeah, he was one of the reasons that like it got like its starting fuel, because they were struggling for so long, and then he got involved and helped push it along. Like there was a lot of people involved in making it, but he helped like get the director on and stuff like that. So it's a really interesting story. If any of our people have time to read it, look into recent interviews with Soderbergh about him being involved with Bill and Ted. It's pretty awesome.
Speaking of interesting stories and not quite horror, you like that? So we are the kings of segues lately.
Oh, so good.
Nailing it.
This one, we'll get back to horror in a second, but there's this documentary I saw that I think horror fans are going to be into.
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
I think you know what I'm talking about. Live from the space stage, a Halyx story.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Class Action Park.
No, I haven't. You know, HBO Max doesn't have a Roku app, so I haven't been able to see it yet. I have HBO, but it's on that damn. Don't get me started. Anyway, no, Live from the space stage, a Halyx story. It's about this band that played on the space stage near Space Mountain the summer of 81, when Space Mountain just opened. And it is a band that Disneyland formed to kind of cash in on the Star Wars craze. So the bass player was this 7-foot-tall white Wookiee. The keyboard player was like a robot that looked like a stormtrooper. And the percussionist was this little amphibian in like a Jedi robe that he was an acrobat as well. His whole mission in the show was to antagonize the bass player, and the rest of them were all human, but they would play like this, you know, kind of like Survivor, Loverboy type, you know, that hard 80s rock type stuff, but they were played by aliens and robots. And it basically is like a behind the music. It talked about the forming of the band, which the guy who put the whole thing together was Mike Post, who wrote people know him for writing the themes from Hill Street Blues and the A-Team and, you know, all those 80s TV shows.
Fuck yeah, dude. Hill Street Blues is my jam.
Yeah, and he put the whole thing together, and you know, it talked, you know, from the producers, then it talked to the band members, it talked to the songwriters, then it talked to some super fans, and it goes basically through how they kind of owned Tomorrowland, and then they made a record, and then they just disbanded. And it's a really interesting story. Like I say, it's not really horror, but the fact that you've got a 7-foot-tall Wookiee and a robot playing instruments makes it kind of something that you'll be interested in. But it is on YouTube. It was made by the guys who do the Defunct Land YouTube channel, which basically talks about, nice. Speaking of Class Action Park, it talks about amusement park rides or attractions that have been closed down. And I guess Halyx got away from them. Usually their bits are between, you know, maybe 10 minutes to a half an hour. This is a 90-minute movie. So I guess Halyx got away from it and they just made it a full documentary. But it's for free on YouTube. Live from the space stage, a Halyx story. Look it up. It's a pretty great story.
And I always recommend Defunk because there's some like really interesting stuff that they dig up in those, and they are usually like 10-minute bites, so you can get through them in like 1 or 2 poops. You know, that's how I gauge my time.
It'll take you at least 10 poops to get through a Halyx story.
Yeah, it depends on what you ate.
Oh, good. Speaking of poop, and again, we are killing it on segues tonight. Thank you, Jonathan.
You're welcome. This was a setup for you.
Thank you. Anyway, so so Fantasia Fest has been going on. I haven't really been able to see too much because like a lot of it is region locked to Canada, but there was some stuff open. Like I watched the John Carpenter Lifetime Achievement Zoom thing, so that was cool. But last night, and this was I guess open worldwide, they were allowing rentals for the new Trauma movie, Shakespeare Shitstorm.
Which we heard about from Justin.
Yeah, Justin Martell, our guest. Which, of course, was why I was interested.
Throwing it back.
Yes. So, yeah, and, one of Trauma's biggest movies was Tromeo and Juliet, which was the traumatized version of Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. So this is kind of a spiritual follow-up in that it's a trauma version of Shakespeare's The Tempest, which on a personal level is my favorite play by Shakespeare, so I had to check it out. And man, it's pure trauma, just plain and simple. Like, yeah, it's called Shakespeare Shitstorm, and let's just say it lives up to the title. There's a lot of bodily fluids and grossness going around, and I'm thankful I had dinner before I watched the movie. It's okay, so it's basically set up like The Tempest. They definitely put in their work. Like this pharmaceutical boat is having a celebratory cruise, and it gets shipwrecked by, I kid you not, a whale shitstorm. Like, these whales are just shitting all over the boat, and people are dying, and it's
Nice.
disgusting, but hilarious. Whales.
How are whales?
They're free willy just shit bombing it.
Oh God! Okay.
Beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. So the super rich pharmaceutical boat gets shipwrecked off of the coast of the savage land known as New Jersey, and of course they're in Tromaville. And turns out this whole thing has been a setup by this mad scientist Prospero, who was screwed over by the pharmaceutical company years ago, and he's got a blind daughter named Miranda, which, you know, again, recurring theme with Troma movies, that there's always a blind character. And instead of having like a magical island, he has a strip club / crack den, and yeah, I don't want to go too into it, but yeah, it follows the usual Troma credo of pushing boundaries, crossing lines, and just being so over the top you can't help but laugh. And again, they really nailed down their Shakespearean lore and research. And yeah, I thought it was funny.
Well, I'm going to throw back to another guest that we've had, because I saw something that composer Devin Burrows told us about. Either you guys seen 1BR, One Bedroom, whatever, 1BR?
No, but I've heard of it.
Well, he had talked about it because he had liked the score, and it's on Netflix now, and that's how I saw it. So you guys can watch it. It's really good. It's not what I was expecting it to be. It's I'm going to give a little minor spoiler. It's kind of not really influenced, but it could take place in the same universe as The Invitation. If you've seen The Invitation. If you haven't seen The Invitation, you should see The Invitation. But it's kind of that same kind of it doesn't, like I said, it's not really influenced by it, but it could be from that same universe. But, you know, it's about a girl who moves into an apartment, and, you know, the building is not what she thought it was. But what Devin was selling us on it was the score, and the score is really cool. Most of it is like just little piano pieces that are kind of just soft little spooky, not really detuned but close piano pieces. The score is really cool. I can see how he was into the score, because it really fit the movie really, really well.
Yeah, I played at Beyond Fest last year. I didn't get the chance to see it, but it did look interesting.
Hey, anytime someone invokes The Invitation, I'm game. Like, 'cause that movie was incredible.
Yeah. Oh, this one, you'll probably like this one too. I mean, it's not quite as clever as The Invitation, but The Invitation was just so well written, you know? Not that this one isn't, but it's not The Invitation.
Yeah.
So what else you guys been seeing?
Well, my Severin Films order came in, so I've been watching a whole heap of stuff from them. Like, one of the things I surprisingly enjoyed, and I wanted to bring up because also today is Mary Shelley's 223rd birthday, so, you know...
Oh, she's getting up there.
Yes. So, yeah, I was watching a bunch of Frankenstein stuff, and, I watched Young Frankenstein earlier, and I watched this Severin Films release before, but I want to watch it again tonight. It's called Frankie and His Pals, and it's a really goofy shot-on-video comedy movie that was made in, like, NorCal back in 1990, and so it's a very zany, low-budget, like, Monster Mash type movie. It's from their shot-on-video Intervision kind of sub label, and it's goofy and dumb, but it's got a lot of heart. You know, being like a low-budget, regionally made shot-on-video movie, and yeah, I just think it's pretty amusing.
Speaking of Severin, there's a couple of exciting releases coming out. You guys hear? First off, Arrow is going to release a DVD of Cronenberg's Crash, which is totally awesome. But the one that is kind of exciting is, speaking of Severin, which, you know, we're killing our transitions, Cruel Jaws.
Cruel Jaws.
Yes, Cruel Jaws.
How did they get the rights to Cruel Jaws? Or do they just not care? Is it like a Terminator 2 thing where they're going to sell it until they get the cease and desist and then stop?
AKA Jaws 5.
Yeah, that's it. For anybody that doesn't know, Cruel Jaws is an Italian shark movie that is basically put together from a bunch of other shark movies. And some of these other shark movies are Jaws 1 through 4. So, Universal has got some skin in this game, and Scream Factory was going to put it out, but couldn't secure the rights. So how the hell did Severin? Unless Severin just doesn't care, and they're going to do it until they're told not to.
Well, I know there's a blurred out slipcover for it, so there's already some stuff that they're trying to get away with.
Well, I mean, remember
Terminator 2.
shocking Dark Terminator 2.
Yeah.
And they did that with Night Killer, aka Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3.
Yeah. Gotta love those Italian knockoffs.
So these slipcovers they're going to do until they get the cease and desist. But are they just, with the whole movie, are they just going to sell it until they get the cease and desist?
Because there's 2 cuts of it.
Oh, is there? Is there a cut that doesn't have all the stolen stuff in it?
I don't know, because there's 2 cuts of it that's going to be on the Blu-ray, but also...
Oh, okay.
But also... like almost the entire movie is comprised of shots being stolen from like a bunch of different movies, not just Jaws 1 through 4. It's other shark movies.
A bunch of other shark movies, yeah. And yeah, I don't know how. I mean, this might be one that I can't wait until I might have to pay full boat for it just to make sure that I get it, because something tells me they're going to be the plug's going to get pulled on Cruel Jaws pretty quick, if it even gets to production. Speaking of 2 versions of, we got confirmation that the TV movie version of Terror in the Isles is going to be on the Scream Factory disc.
Yeah, which is
one of the special features. So
might have to wait for that one to go on sale, because that sounds awesome. the alternate TV. Does the TV version not feature as much Nighthawks? Because I don't get me wrong, love Nighthawks, but why was it featured so much in that?
I think the stuff it's not going to have is like the sex stuff. So you're probably not going to get that rape scene from, I think it was Vice Squad, or maybe it was Ms. 45. You're not going to get a lot of the bluer stuff. I don't know if it's going to edit out any of the violence, but I've never seen the TV movie one. I'm just speculating on what they might take out.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I will see, because I've never seen the TV one. But I know that it's got stuff like the car.
I fucking love the car. That's the best of the Jaws knockoffs. Just like James Brolin versus a car.
Yeah, no, that is a classic. It's Jaws and Duel.
Grizzly is the best Jaws knockoff. Jaws with claws.
I still need to see that one.
What else have you guys been seeing? Anything else cool, or should we move on?
Well, going back to not really horror, just shout out to Shudder for putting Jawbreaker on, because
yes,
that was such an easy sell.
Jawbreaker's horror enough.
I mean, it's pretty dark.
It's a dark comedy.
Just seeing Marilyn Manson, a young Marilyn Manson with like slick back hair and a mustache, is horror enough,
Well, he was dating Rose McGowan at that point, I think.
Yep. Yeah,
What?
They were together.
Did not know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I highly recommend that to anyone. But anytime I watch Jawbreaker, it makes me want to watch Heathers and Clueless, so that turns into a triple feature every time.
Funny you mentioned that. I actually watched it back to back with Drop Dead Gorgeous.
Ooh, that's another good one to watch with it. Yeah. Maybe even sprinkle in a little Mean Girls.
Jawbreaker features a young Judy Greer as Fern Mayo, or Violet.
Fern Mayo.
Right.
Fern Mayo is like one of the greatest character names out there. Just being, it's like the exact opposite of like Johnny Dangerous or, but yeah, that's out there. I ended up, because I'm a huge Blu-ray collector, so I not only rearranged all my Blu-rays that took all fucking day, putting them in new shelves, but I also happened upon 2 Blu-rays I've been hunting for a while. I finally got my Shout Factory release of Death Race 2000.
Nice.
Which was so awesome to revisit. And the special features on that are great. And I paid like a fourth of like what it's been going on online. So I was really stoked about that. And I finally secured a copy of Miss 45 as well. So can't really buy anything for a minute, but it was worth it for those 2 titles.
I was gonna say, like, with some of Shout Factory's stuff going out of print, I actually shelled out for a few things myself. I got Carrie and Tank Girl.
Tank Girl, love it.
Yeah, no, I didn't watch it for a long time because people was like, oh man, Tank Girl movie sucks. Well, they suck because I love Tank Girl.
Yeah, I'm not saying that Tank Girl is a masterpiece in any way possible, but it is a fun movie.
Yeah.
Like it almost captures. There's like a few things that are a bit ridiculous with it, but it almost captures the heart of the comics very well. You know,
You're talking to a guy who legitimately liked Cats. Okay, you don't have to sell me on bad movies being good.
why the fuck did you have to bring up cat skin? Like seriously, James, stop.
Oh, there we
Because
go again.
Cats is awesome.
Ugh, Tank Girl is better.
There was a couple other movies I saw that I wanted to bring up. Like, I actually saw this new movie that was really good called Spree with Joe Keery from Stranger Things. Yeah, man, that was way more intense than I was expecting. It's kind of like a found footage... found footage movie. It's about this guy who really wants to be viral and internet famous, and he's kind of got a whole king of comedy, fade to black thing about him. So he's he's a weird loner who, if the title wasn't already kind of given a clue, goes on a killing spree. And he's like driving this Uber type thing and like picking up victims. So yeah, Joe Keery just really gets his chance to pull a 180 on, you know, the usual type of characters he plays, because like he goes full psycho. Yeah, though it's like a dark comedy kind of American Psycho type thing. I really dug it. And in terms of Blu-ray stuff, I really dug Pandemonium, which was a 80s horror comedy spoof from Alfred Soul, the guy who directed Alice Sweet Alice, and it stars Carol Kane and Paul Rubens. It is about like a reopened cheerleader camp, and it's a slasher parody, so it gets pretty over the top and silly. Like, it has that kind of airplane rapid fire type of humor, so it's right up my alley. And back on the Severance stuff, I got The Blood on Satan's Claw, which is a British folk horror movie I've been dying to see for a long time. And man, that was way more intense than I was expecting, because it's basically about this medieval British village that finds the corpse of Satan himself, and I kind of think compared to The Keep, because, you know, it's like the residual toxic evil of this corpse is enough to start corrupting the village, and like people start going crazy and just start killing each other and having sex and orgies and stuff.
Yeah.
With a name like Blood on Satan's Claw, you think it's going to be like this tongue-in-cheek, like schlock B movie, but it's sort of like
The Devils,
Witchmaster General,
where
where it's like it's a pretty dark and disturbing movie.
Yeah, it gets really intense.
And it really hits. It's one of the best folk horror movies out there. Like, if anyone is a fan of Midsommar, you need to really hunt down Blood on Satan's Claws, because...
A fan of what?
Midsommar. Is that better?
There we go.
Any fans of that movie?
We gotta make Tim drink. Tim drinks every time we say Midsommar.
Midsommar. But yeah,
actually, I don't think it is. I think Tim has been sober for more years than me, so he doesn't really. But he does like when we say Midsommar.
it hits that funny note with him. But yeah, I mean, it's absolutely phenomenal. So, and if anyone who didn't like Midsommar, Blood on Satan's Claws is going to scratch that itch for phenomenal folk horror. Like, I think it's just as good as Wicker Man, you know. In terms of like how well made it is, but it also goes like very far with a lot of its horror, and it does it in a very effective way. It left me, I had to rewatch it like within a few days just to be, like, kind of comprehend a lot of what was going on with it, you know. It's really good.
So you're saying you want a Nicolas Cage remake of Blood on Satan's Claw, then?
Why not? I mean, at this age of Nick Cage, why not? You know, early 2006 Cage, no. Now Nick Cage, why not? Although, to follow up on a movie that James talked about the other week, I did watch Pool, despite his warnings with the dog scene. Holy shit, that scene, dude. You did not warn me enough about it. That was...
I told you not to watch it. What more could I have done?
Hey, I blame my fiance, dude. She put it on, and like, it was phenomenal. It was really entertaining. It could have like done with like maybe 20 minutes shaved off of it, and made it nice and tighter. But damn, dude, that scene like sticks with you. You also didn't warn me that the film was basically just like, yeah, the worst thing that could possibly happen in a situation, when something comes up, the worst thing's going to happen. Like, the most, like, shit luck is going to happen to these characters on and on and on, But it was a lot of fun. But that scene, oof.
Thank you for bringing that up. In 1BR, anybody who's going to watch it, these are the things that need to be spoiled. Something terrible happens to a cat. Putting that out there. If you're sensitive to that, 1BR is not for you.
So many pet-unfriendly horror movies lately.
That's what we need to start doing. We just need to start spoiling every time something horrible happens to an animal.
Yeah. Children, that's fine. They can be, we're not gonna give warnings of that in movies.
Yes.
But pets, we're sensitive to that, so we're going to...
Yeah, forget the children.
Yeah.
Who cares about the children?
All right, let's move on to our topic, because it's something that's coming up, and some decisions need to be made. By the time this airs, it's going to be first week of September. Halloween's coming. And we were joking about this when this pandemic first started, that we have to flatten this curve by Halloween. Now it's looking like it's not going to happen. And Halloween is in danger of, for the lack of a better word, being canceled. Which sucks, because not only is Halloween on a Saturday and have a full moon, but it's a daylight savings day where we turn the clocks back, so that you relive an hour, right? There's an extra hour to it. It was a perfect storm for an awesome Halloween, if it wasn't for the fact that it might kill you to go out and party this year. See, I never go out and party on Halloween anyway, because that's just not something that I do. But I know a lot of people do. And this year, what do you guys think? Do you guys think it's a smart idea to go to a Halloween party? Or should you incorporate a mask into your costume?
Well, that's the thing. You can't be in crowds or gatherings.
Yeah.
There's too many vectors. The more people you encounter in person, even with masks. So, there are definitely... there's got to be ways, to celebrate, but, you can't just do like a Halloween house party, because that's a recipe for disaster.
There's also reports coming out that the virus is like an aerosol, so it kind of sticks around. I think the analogy that was best said to me was that it's like if someone exhales with a cigarette, how it stays in the air. And when you like breathe out, it's like you're breathing each other's smoke. And that's kind of like how, just in general, whenever anything like that comes out of our mouth, bacteria and all that stuff, we're all just kind of like walking through and breathing out each other's smoke. So I mean, like, I would never during this recommend parties or gatherings like that. And so if that's all Halloween is to you, I guess it is canceled. Because that's our main topic is Halloween canceled? And I would say, like, there's things that are going to be canceled. I mean, Universal Horror Nights, which has been a staple for my Halloweens for the last 5 or 6 years, has been canceled. So that part is gone. But, and here's my Charlie Brown moment. Halloween is not canceled. It lives in all of us. It's in our hearts. I think before we started talking, I adapted a really weird accent, but I'm not going to do that to our listeners right now. But it's within all of us. So like, as there's alternatives that you can do. You can have a nice quiet night in watching horror movies. You can do stuff. I know for my fiance and I, we have Halloween lights up on our deck all year. I have a full skeleton out there that I like to dress up, and it's out there all year long. And definitely Halloween, I'm going to keep those lights on all fucking night. Are you kidding me? You can have Zoom parties with friends. You can have Zoom watch things. There's movies anywhere. You can screen pass and then watch stuff with people on it.
Also, there's bound to be some Halloween events at the drive-in.
Yeah, dude, go to the drive-in.
That's actually what I was going to ask. You're on top of that, Jacob. Are there, because a lot of times there are like all-night movie-thons, especially if it's a Saturday night. Are they doing that at the drive-in?
I have no idea. Unfortunately, at this time, like, there's no real plans, and nothing's really been announced in terms of screenings or event or screening events in October, which I'm sure there'll be something because especially in Los Angeles, there are several all-night horror-thons in the Los Angeles area. In fact, I worked at the Aero Theater, which has its annual all-night horror-thon, which sadly, with the theater closed, probably isn't going to happen this year. And yeah, the New Bev had one, and they just kind of pop up here and there. Like I think the Alamo has dismembered the Alamo, but yeah, I mean, I'm sure they'll figure out some way to kind of transplant that experience at the drive-in. Maybe not all night, but at the very least, like maybe a few, more than a few movies, like more than a double feature. I mean, at least that's what I'm hoping, because the drive-in is the perfect place for horror movies.
What about trick-or-treating? Do you think there will be trick-or-treating this year?
Well, I think that'll really depend.
I mean, 3 guys with no kids talk about trick-or-treating. I mean, if you had kids, would you take them out trick-or-treating, or would you just maybe just buy them some candy and say, trick or treat? I mean, I don't know if I would let my kids, do that this year, because you're going to too many different houses, and
yeah, just too many vectors. Plus, everybody pressing the same doorbell, and kids are going to be kids. So they've been using this argument a lot with schools that it's hard enough to have kids follow the rules as is, and it's going to be even tougher for them to follow like COVID guidelines. So it just seems like it'd be too much of a risk.
Here's an alternative, as someone without a kid, because it's still nice to go out and go on those walks. It's still nice to go out and see people's decorations.
Yeah.
Here's a recommendation that I have, at the very least. Take your kids trick-or-treating, but instead of them going up to the doors and getting candy from strangers, just have like a big bag of candy, and every time you get to a house, throw a piece of candy into their bag. That way they're still walking around, they're still showing off their costumes, they're still seeing all the sweet, awesome decorations. They can see my balcony, from the street. I'll wave, but keep away from like going to people's houses, but you still are walking around, getting the exercise, still get to participate in a majority of the stuff, but wear masks, like medical masks under your normal mask, with that.
But also another thing you bring up with the candy, if just one house has somebody, a COVID carrier in it, and that house is giving candy to every kid, that is just going to spread like wildfire. So yeah, I mean, that's a good point. You don't want, I wouldn't want my kid taking a piece of candy from every house in the neighborhood, because all it takes is one.
Exactly. Yeah. It's all about the vector factor.
Yeah.
Sadly, that's the thing. It's all about the vectors, and the safest thing to do is to avoid vectors, which sadly it means avoiding people when possible.
Every time you say vector, I think, what's your vector, Victor?
Roger.
He was over under and I was underdone.
But I mean, again, there's ways of working around this. Don't get me wrong. I'm definitely one of those people who likes to put on a slutty outfit and go out, like on Halloween. Usually that's my sloppiest night of the year. I come home covered in just sweat and dried up booze and just it's super late. Maybe it's a 2-day bender. I don't know. I'm not going to do that this year. Nor do I want to. I'm calming down on my partying as of the last few years, but Halloween was always the exception. No, but this isn't the year for that. So this year, I'm still going to dress slutty. Why not?
Do you have a costume in mind?
I did, but due to work and a bunch of other stuff, I haven't been able to source it. I was going to go as Jackie Daytona.
Yeah.
From What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah.
But between work, me shaving my head and all this stuff, I don't think that costume's going to work out this year.
One of my favorite Halloween costumes in recent times was last year, Korea's fiance went as him. Literally just wore his clothes and put on a beard. And it was pretty awesome.
Well, because for us, Halloween, it's not just a one-night thing. Generally we celebrate the entire month. This year, and that's one of the reasons why also we're having this episode so early, because I'm going to argue, don't just have it be one night, don't just have it be 1 month. Spirit Halloween is already selling shit, And they have an awesome trick or treat merchandise section this year. I already got myself a bunch of trick or treat masks. So like, start celebrating early. Start watching a fuck ton of scary movies now. Put up those decorations early, because we can't have one night big blowout. Let's spread it out. Fuck, let's go into November with this shit. Fuck Christmas. Halloween 365.
Yeah, well, that's actually something I've been really liking, because I've been taking a lot of walks around my neighborhood, and some places, I think just because, everybody's at home so much and, not much to do, like, people have put up Halloween decorations already up. Like, I've seen some pumpkins and some spooky spider webs and, like, bat decorations and stuff. And I mean, I've seen like even Christmas lights and decorations other places. Like, I think people just kind of want to liven up the place while they're stuck indoors. So it's people want to get into the spirit, no doubt.
I guess it's hypocritical of me to have the reaction of ew with Christmas stuff being up so early, but
I mean, it's not even. I mean, it's mostly just Christmas lights. Like, I haven't seen like anybody put up like a manger scene or anything yet.
And people did it for the reason that you said. Just people were so bummed out about being in quarantine, and they're like, just to liven the street up, let's all put our Christmas lights up. I mean, that's exactly what they were doing with that. It was happening all summer. Yeah.
Hey, and you know what? I apologize to the Christmas people. You know what? If it makes you happy, put up your Rudolphs, put up your Christmas tree, put up your mangers mangers. Oh man, dude.
But don't skip Halloween to do it.
Don't skip
it. They start doing it now.
Yeah, make it spooky. Add spider webs and bats to the manger scenes. There we go, manger. All right, God, man, my Catholic school upbringing is. Sister Monique's gonna be mad at me. But again, I don't think Halloween's canceled. I think there's going to be certain things about it that are going to be canceled. I'm not going to be partying in the middle of WeHo this year. That's always, sad. But there's ways we can adapt to it. And the spirit of Halloween is highly commercialized, so we don't need to give into that. Let's go back to the old ways. Let's go back to Saw way. Let's go conjure up some demons at home, Yeah,
let's go full Conal Cochran.
Yeah, dude. Break out the Ouija board over Zoom, because we all know that goes so well. Right, host?
We've all seen that movie.
But they weren't using a Ouija board. That's why it went so wrong.
Wait, what did they use?
Didn't. They just used a regular...
They were just doing a seance.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
then they had that one, a little bit of a spoiler. They had that one girl who ruined it for everyone. That one jackass girl.
Just don't be a jackass.
There's always that one that ruins your Zoom seance.
Yeah.
Well, if you can't go to the spookiness, bring the spookiness to you.
Halloween for me, like I said, I don't go out and party anymore. For me, it is just about hanging out at home, watching scary movies. So the only thing that may change is the trick-or-treater thing. I mean, am I going to be interrupted by kids in the neighborhood, or am I going to have peace and quiet while I'm watching my horror movies on Halloween? Because, I don't go out and party. I'm too old for that now.
Yeah.
You didn't have to agree with me.
Well, I meant about the trick-or-treaters interrupting, not you being old, James. But if you want to go there, I'm not wrong. No.
You're not.
But, I mean, like, the good thing is that you're not going to see as many houses TP'd this year. So there's that. Although, TP is coming back. It's in stock, so maybe.
No one wants to waste it, though. It's still not to that point.
I'll never forget all you people who hoard a TP. All right, I have a list. I remember you. Okay?
Vengeance will be Jonathan's.
Not vengeance, but I know not to trust them. All right. You're on my shit list.
Literally.
Yeah. Actually, I'm not that mad at those people. I have a bidet, so I only need 1/4 of the squareage that you people, you peasants need. I sit on my mighty throne with my squatty potty and bidet, my mighty porcelain throne. There's a lot of shit talk this episode. What's it like? Is it just because Shakespeare's shitstorm kind of put it all in our heads, or?
Well, in your heads.
Yeah, I guess I am the one to blame for this. Apologies, listeners, for...
I mean, you are the one who has a poop clock.
Poop clock? Oh,
Well, you were talking
yeah.
about, watching Defunct
time.
Land in terms of pooping.
Hey, man, it keeps me from, downloading stupid games that collect my data, watching YouTube videos. And it's usually either Defunct Land or Kaiju Profile. So,
Fair enough.
All right, it looks like we're starting to wrap this one up, which is great because we're well under schedule. But anyway, let's wrap this one up. At this moment right now, what are your guys' plans for Halloween? What are you guys going to do? Jacob.
Well, I'm still thinking it over, but I have roommates, so I at least have other people to celebrate with. And depending on what's happening that day, and also COVID friendly, I got more than enough horror movies to watch with my friends here, have some drinks, have some laughs. So got that. Or I could Zoom stream or Netflix party stream some horror movies with friends all across the globe. So, I
thought for sure you were going to check out what's going on at the drive-in.
Well, I probably will. I'm just saying I don't know if anything's going to be happening on the drive-in on Halloween, but if there isn't, that's what I'm doing. But if there is horror movies playing at the drive-in, I will be there, especially if they do some kind of Halloween horror-thon. That's completely my jam, because it's just not the Halloween season if I don't watch horror movies from dawn till dusk, or from dusk till dawn.
And then dawn till dusk.
What about you, Korea? What are your plans?
Probably just dress slutty and stay home and get all fat and sassy, Just, I'd like to do. I really do hope that there is an all night at the drive-in, because that would be awesome. I'm actually going to the drive-in for the first time since COVID this week with Jacob. They have a Hannibal Lecter double feature of Manhunter and Silence of the Lambs, and I got tickets. So
hell yeah.
And I'll be bringing a special guest with me, so I'll make sure to post pictures of the special guest. Hopefully they won't charge for him, though. He's not taking up space, but
Your skeleton's coming with you, isn't he?
it's not my skeleton. No,
Is it Bigfoot? Are you bringing that Sasquatch?
My Sam Squanch?
Sham Squatch.
First of all, the Sam Squanch has a name. His name is Mike. And yeah. I guess this will premiere after. Yeah, I'll be bringing my Sasquatch with me. Yeah, he's missing his feet, so you can't call him Bigfoot, but but he's still pretty great. I just think he needs to get out. He's been living in my friend's shed all year since December, so it's time to bring Mike out. And if anyone wants a Sam Squanch that's missing its feet, from basically the knees down, I don't know, maybe he had some trouble in with the mob or something, but from the knees down he's missing. But he's still got a lot of heart, that Mike, the Sam Squanch.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think I am going to, on Halloween, I'm going to dive into my new Friday the 13th box set that I will have gotten a couple of weeks before.
That's right. That is coming out around there.
That's coming out October 13th.
Perfect.
While you're doing that, I might have to break into my second sight 4K release of Dawn of the Dead.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. There's probably going to be some more cool Halloween and horror themed Blu-ray and home video releases around October. So we'll probably have some more of those. Vinegar Syndrome and Severin Films have been hinting at some fun releases for October.
Yeah, Blu-ray pre-orders has been killing my bank account recently, so I need to calm the fuck down a little bit.
Yep. No, like I said, a lot of Shout Factory stuff has been going out of print, and I can't let it go. I got to get that before it's gone forever.
Especially Carrie. That was a great release, by the way.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm really glad I jumped on that.
Now, I have the Arrow version of Carrie, the British Arrow one. What is the difference?
There might be some special
know?
features differences, but the Arrow release is really good, too. Yeah.
That's the one I have. I don't have the Scream Factory one, but I have the Arrow one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing I really know, the Shout Factory one has 4K transfer and, some specific special features, so I don't know.
But it's hard to say who's right and who's wrong when it's between Scream and Arrow, because usually they do cool different stuff, but it's cool in their own way. I know The Thing was definitely one of those where it's like, fuck, now I need both of them, because the Arrow release had like a 2K transfer, but it was overseen by the original DP, but the Scream Factory had a 4K transfer, neither of which were on 4K disc, but, maybe Studio Canal is going to put that out. They've been putting out a lot of Carpenter in 4K recently.
True.
Because, I need to own my 8th or 9th copy of The Thing,
Yeah, I think I with the Scream Factory release, that's my third copy. Same with Big Trouble in Little China. Like, I'm up to 3 after the Scream Factory release.
And you guys don't purge when you get a better release? Do you?
No.
I mean, if everything from the older release is on the newer one, do you get rid of the older one?
Depends.
Like, I have a real bare bones carry from, like, it was one of those, I think it was one of those, like, Walmart $5.99 specials. And then when I got my Arrow one, I'm like, oh, I don't need this anymore.
Yeah.
I did the purge.
Yeah, no, I'm with Jonathan. It kind of depends. I just kind of held on to mine for couple reasons. Like, well, for one, my DVD of The Thing is signed by John Carpenter, so want to hold on to that.
Keep that.
And yeah, and the General Universal Studios Blu-ray I have of The Thing, just not sure I'd really get that much money back on it.
For me, it depends. Like, for The Thing, I have a bare bones Blu-ray of The Thing, but I keep it because it's the Mondo release for it, so the artwork is really nice. But most of the time, if it's an upgrade, I'm going to get rid of the old one. But there's some cases, like my copy of the Phantom of the Paradise, I have the Arrow release and I have the Scream Factory release on Blu-ray, but I just can't bring myself to get rid of my bare bones DVD from way long ago, because I don't know, it's just that particular DVD has a special place in my heart from just finding it and going, what is this weird thing? And then just like lending it out to everyone I know. Like, it's super beaten up, but like, it's got a little nostalgia to it,
I still have my DVD of Shock Treatment that I have not purged when I got the Arrow good version of Shock Treatment, because I was like, I remember being so excited when Shock Treatment's on DVD. This is awesome, because I was a huge Rocky fan, and I was familiar with Shock Treatment, but I'd never owned it because it was kind of, at that point, it was kind of a holy grail.
Right.
It was so hard to find on VHS, yeah. When it was released on DVD, I mean, I was there first day and bought it, and so yeah, I still haven't purged that one, even though there's nothing on it that is not on the Arrow one, but And the Arrow release, the first limited run for the Shock Treatments were really cool. The 2 different versions and stuff.
I have the Cosmo one.
I was only going to just get one copy of it, and then I ended up finding the other version at Amoeba for real cheap, because it was Region B, so they sold it for like half the price, and I was like, oh, I can't not get that with store credit, So,
except I think Arrow stuff, even when it says Region B, it's region free.
A lot of times it is.
Arrow stuff.
Like with the House 3 and 4, it's supposed to be region locked, but it's not. But don't tell the
Arrow
authorities.
does that a lot. If they can sneak region free through, they will.
Oh, they're good people over at Arrow.
Yeah, they are. All right, let's wrap this one up in record time tonight. I'm not going to have to do any shaving of content to hit time. I'm not going to have to decide what to cut out because we didn't make time, because we're making time. This is awesome.
Yep, this episode was not a shitstorm.
No, this was a quick and dirty. Wait, what? Anyway, our music is by Restless Spirit, so go rock with them, and our artwork is by Chris Fisher, so go check him out. Where can we find you guys on the socials, Jacob?
You can find me on Twitter at @JacobDavison_. That is at JACOBDAVISON_.
And you, Korea?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Korean Barbecue. That's CORREIAN BBQ. And look at our social medias, because we're going to have some contests coming up, so you can host your own stay-at-home marathons. Yeah. And what are those social medias again, James?
Well, first off, me, you can find on Twitter at CinemaFerite. That's FEARITE, like verite, but with fear. Or you can find any of us. You can find any of us at our Facebook Ion Horror page, our Twitter Ion Horror, the iHorror Facebook page, or iHorror.com. And there's a Stardust. Is there a Pinterest yet? I don't know.
I don't.
Korea's working on the Tinder.
Never understood what Pinterest was. Like, I don't get it. Like, I'm not a stay-at-home mom, so I don't know.
So anyway, you can find us. We're not hard to find. If you've listened to all 50 of these, we want to hear from you because I'm gonna level with you. I'll bet I'm the only one of the three of us who have listened to all 3 of these or all 50 of these, and that's mainly because I listen to make sure that they sound okay because I'm the dude who puts them together and I want to make sure that I did okay. It's quality control. So anyway, we will see you next time where we'll talk about something that is not your Halloween being ruined.
Yeah.
So for me, James J. Edwards.
I'm Jacob Davison.
And I'm Jonathan Correa.
Keep your eye on horror.